This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
What's going on, everybody, guys and girls? Welcome back to another edition of the SmackDown Review right here on the WWE Podcast. As always, I am one of the hosts of this show, Michael Ritter. You can find me on X at Michael5Ritter or on Instagram at MichaelRitter5. Also, one of the hosts of the Football Function Podcast, available wherever you get your podcast. Joining me on today's episode, like usual, my humble co-host, young Jonathan Carrasco. You can find him on X or Twitter, whichever you prefer, at Big Speaker, BIGG_speaker. John, how the hell you doing, bud?
Well, man, of course, it's Friday. You know, trying to enjoy the little time that we got before we got to go ahead and get another day in of work, I guess. Kind of sucks. But other than that, man, I mean, I'm here, ready to knock down this review for y'all and everything like that, and see what we got.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun review, for sure. The show's already been off to a pretty good start. We saw some wrestling already in the first hour. Oh, yeah. Now here we are starting the second hour when we're starting to record this. But matches are actually going on throughout the show, so we're going to try to do our best to cover them simultaneously while watching the show. You know how it goes with these live reviews. But either way, let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? This SmackDown aired on August 11th, 2023 from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Shout out to DJ Kuzma for the location breakdown. And also, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Pretty big hotspot in the wrestling world. A lot of good stuff. It's a historic landmark. Famous for the Hart'S, the dungeon, should I say, where Natalya, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, several others have gone through there. Tyson Kidd probably, had his fair share of, getting that experience because he's kind of in the family, being married to Natalya. And he grew up wrestling. But I've just noticed, I saw a YouTube video, this wrestling fan. It's all out of respect. I know it's a little bit strange, but he goes to famous wrestlers' gravesites and he pays his respect to it. And he pretty much videotapes it for all the fans who will never be able to go there. And he went to Calgary. He went as close as you could get to the Hart'S, and then went to Owen Hart's gravesite, which was pretty awesome, honestly, just seeing how beautiful his tombstone was and all that. But that's where I first got to be introduced to Calgary, and seeing a little bit, seeing the highways. It was a pretty long video just of him explaining everything. He kind of caught me up and many others who don't know and weren't familiar with the Hart family on exactly what the house was and pretty much everything that it meant to the Hart family.
That's pretty good stuff right there. Didn't know any of it, so it's all new information right there. So, definitely a little round of applause for you having in your little knowledge book, I guess you could say. Dang it, that's one.
First of the show.
Hey, we're going to keep rocking this out.
3 minutes into the show and, only one. Man, I tell you what, Hit Row will not let LA Knight have this match fair. All right, we're obviously, way into the show, but what we're watching right now is LA Knight versus Flop Dollar in a one-on-one contest. We'll get to this one here in a little bit, but I am excited to talk about this episode of SmackDown because it's the first one after SummerSlam. We found out some stuff today, maybe accidentally, about some Payback news, which we'll get into that a little bit later. But is there anything you want to talk about in terms of Monday Night Raw that you saw that, maybe caught your eye? I know that the LA Knight versus Miz promo battle was an absolute killer segment on the show. I haven't watched Raw, I apologize, in a couple weeks. It's probably not going to change anytime soon because football season is back. But is there anything that maybe I missed that you'd like to talk about?
Well, the Judgment Day little scenario, or I don't even know, they're about to be kind of
different, maybe?
Yeah, it seems like they might be bringing in a new guy, maybe replacing Damian Priest with the little conflict that they got going between him and Finn Balor. So
yes,
it's interesting. Of course, the Cody. I mean, whenever they had their little 3-way tag match versus, it was Cody, Shinsuke Nakamura. It was supposed to be Sami Zayn, but he ended up getting injured backstage. So that was definitely a little twist right there. And, of course, Seth freaking Rollins. And it was a pretty good match. I mean, yeah, definitely some good stuff right there. Of course, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I definitely could say that I miss Samantha Irvin. I mean, that's what's the bad thing about it. I mean, she's over there just enjoying her life on the Raw side rather than over here on the SmackDown side, and we're over here struggling now, bringing in Kevin Patrick. So, I don't know, man.
Kevin Patrick. Oops, sorry, I had to go close the window there.
Yeah, it's definitely looking a little bit better on the developmental side of the Raw.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Kevin Patrick, whatever. We got TV on mute while we're doing the
I
live
just feel
reviews,
like he takes away from Michael Cole.
Oh,
definitely.
for sure. I haven't even heard Michael Cole's voice pretty much.
That's
There's been a little bit, but there's been no memorable line so far throughout the show. But I'm more sad that we lost Samantha Irvin because I've never been a big fan of the male announcer. What is his name? Mike Rome, I believe is his name.
Yep.
You heard it with the rated R superstar. I've just never.
Oh, yeah, man.
That just sounds like nails on a chalkboard to me. He does the same thing with the American Nightmare. So he has his shtick. I just feel like Samantha Irvin is objectively better.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely think like vocal wise and everything. So I mean that's definitely like I said, a negative that we don't have her anymore. So that's, I guess you could say, something that I always look forward to when I do watch Raw.
So what'd you think about SummerSlam? Just really quickly, we can touch on it a little bit. Some of the big stuff that actually happened, such as Io Sky doing her cash in. That was a huge part of the night. But what'd you think about the show?
Well, I mean, the Ricochet and Logan Paul, that was definitely, start of the night. And that was a match that I was actually looking forward to. So I feel like they definitely lived up to that expectation that they were trying to make it like a viral moment type stuff. So, I mean, yeah, the match was good. They both competed well, and it was a good way to start the show for me. Of course, like you're saying, the Io Sky, I definitely didn't think it was going to happen, but of course, whenever you heard her music, it was already about to cash in time. And
I was telling you, she was tipping her hand a little bit.
I predicted it right. I mean, Bianca Belair won. But
you did, and whenever she won, I was like, man, John called it. But I only had that feeling in my stomach for 30 seconds, if that, before we hear that music.
Yeah. She
comes out, and Bianca just didn't really stand a chance at that point. So it is what it is.
Yeah,
but
after that, I definitely knew it was already a loss from there, and it was definitely something that I didn't want to see. But other than that, the bloodline situation, Jimmy, did not expect that. And I don't know what's going to happen from here. Now I'm kind of slumped about it. Let me say that.
Yeah, that was a huge turn. I will say it was just I didn't expect it, to be honest. We were told that no one could interfere. Do we not remember the rules of Tribal Combat? The whole damn segment dedicated to it.
Man, the whole Solo situation, whenever he kind of started helping out, man, yeah, I just definitely thought numbers game at this point, so.
I'm just going to take a drink of my beverage.
Ready for. So, yeah. Jay, definitely gave him a good round of applause, because I thought he did well. What was that, Samoan drop whenever he hit Roman through that table?
Yes.
That looked like it hurt, honestly. So
Jay was rising up.
Yeah.
He was stepping up to the challenge, and he was impressing me, obviously. But the match itself kind of didn't really live up to a lot of people's expectations. I've seen a lot of people, crapping on it, you included. You expected more, which is totally fine. I did too.
I thought it was good.
You thought it was good?
Yeah. The rise for me was good until.
So the ending is what you really didn't like.
That was the one that kind of why, he just kind of just ruined this whole good match just for of course, we don't know why.
We don't know why just yet. But I will say it was kind of strange just the way that the match was kind of unfolding, because it was pretty much just a no DQ match. Mm-hmm. There was no Samoan culture type of reference, was there? Did I miss something? Or was it just kendo sticks, chairs,
I guess.
Like a strap? Hey, that was a normal organic one. All right. And you didn't even finish it. But I will say, the match itself, I'm not really too high on it because they broke their own rules. I thought that, I would have loved to see, if Roman Reigns was going to win, let Jey Uso push his ass to the limit. No pun intended, because obviously WWE likes to really hammer that in, the whole pushing other wrestlers to the limit no matter what. But I think you really could have made a case here for Jey Uso going the distance with Roman Reigns in a one-on-one match, even if he doesn't win. But I understand this kind of springboards Jey Uso into his next phase. Just directly puts him into a feud with his brother.
Yep.
And we heard something on the internet today about Rikishi possibly stepping into this in the form of a referee, specifically at Payback. So that's something you might keep an eye out for. Nothing's been announced that I know of. It was just an accidental advertisement for like an autograph signing or something. Yeah, it was definitely leaked. And long story short, the news got out that Ricochet, he's definitely going to be at Payback, I imagine. But Rikishi's going to be there with him. And he might have on the white and black striped WWE referee shirt. But with all that being said, I also like Cody Rhodes getting the win on Brock Lesnar. Just going and saying that. And the fact that he pulled Brock, or Brock pulled Cody in. They had that little embrace that was not planned. That was just those two going off script. Love to see that. But the next night on Raw, I did see, because I didn't watch Raw, but I saw a highlight of Cody Rhodes saying that Brock Lesnar acknowledged him.
Yeah.
A little bit of a teaser there, if I would say so myself, just as a way of him saying, look, someone's going to win the Royal Rumble. I don't know who. But a good way to build up that World Heavyweight Championship that Seth has is to have the Rumble winner say, no, I want that belt. I want to go after that championship. Roman Reigns, well, I'm going to take WrestleMania off. I've main evented it the past, 5 years in a row? I don't need to take this one off. And then all of a sudden, there's only one Royal, or shit. There's more than one. You know what I meant. I'm leaving that in just because it is what it is. But you know what I'm saying. Cody Rhodes' music hits. And we get him coming out saying, look, it's time to finish the story. He's probably not going to tell him those exact words, but that's what he's going to get to by saying, give me my rematch. WrestleMania 40. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. Every time I say WrestleMania 40, I'm going to correct myself and then immediately get pissed if anybody else says WrestleMania 40, because WrestleMania XL just comes off the tongue so well. I remember Super Bowl XL in Detroit. Shout out Detroit Kyle. Steelers versus Seahawks.
Nice.
Steelers obviously get the win in that game, but nonetheless, this isn't a football show. It's hard for me not to, go down a rabbit hole every now and then. But you get what I'm saying. Before I botched Cody Rhodes' entrance, apologize. Hey, I got Cody Rhodes' action figure over there displayed damn near by itself in terms of where the wrestling figures are. So clearly he's over in there.
Over here.
He's front and center. He's been there since we got back from the Rumble. And I will say, I don't know if we've announced that we're going to Monday Night Raw in Oklahoma City in October, but we are. So shout out to anybody who's going to Oklahoma City. Let us know if you're going to be at I don't know what the arena's called, but I went there for a SmackDown back in 2022, I think, maybe February 2022. Great stuff. But John and I are officially going there. Our hotel is booked. We're going to be getting our tickets here very soon. And it's going to be a fun time. I will say, I've never been to a Monday Night Raw. And that was my first love in WWE.
Okay.
It was Monday Night Raw. Just because I've told the story multiple times. I didn't have the CW or whatever SmackDown came on at the time. UPN maybe, I don't even know. But long story short, I just did not have the channel that I needed. So I was naturally drawn to Monday Night Raw as a kid. Never got to go, though. Been to a couple Royal Rumbles. Been to WrestleMania, obviously. Dozens of live events. Friday Night SmackDown 2 times. It's never been to a Monday Night Raw, and I'm looking forward to checking that off the bucket list. Because, hey, Royal Rumble was fun. We get to go on another trip. It's exciting.
Oh, yeah. Same. This is going to be my little first time to attend a Raw as well. So, definitely looking forward to it. The drive, definitely going to be better.
Way better. Oh, my.
Here to San Antonio to here to
OKC?
Yeah.
That's nothing.
That's definitely a plus right there that I'm looking forward to. Just driving, and that's the better part of it.
Good stop. Well, let's go ahead and get into things that have happened on this episode of SmackDown. I'm not sure how this match comes about, to be completely honest, as SmackDown, or the match that opened the show, Charlotte versus Asuka. I'm not sure how that match was announced, became official. Like I said, I don't follow WWE on Twitter for spoiler reasons. And there was a little bit of a debate on where SmackDown was going to be able to be watched, depending on where you are geographically, like in the United States. Some people had to watch it on Peacock. Some people had to watch it on FS1. Some people's Fox was just blacked out or was on sports or something else. Luckily for us, it was on the regular channel. We didn't have to change anything. But I got up here a little bit late in the studio because of a medical emergency. Let's just say that. So I wasn't able to prepare as properly as I would have liked, to get us situated. So I missed the opening 4 minutes of SmackDown. We turned it on, and bam, we see Charlotte and Asuka going at it, which is always a good thing to see. Damage Control obviously comes out, which kind of ruined the entire match.
Yep.
Because it was going great. Obviously, Asuka and Charlotte, when are they not going to put on a banger of a match? And then Damage Control comes out, all three of them, and they just absolutely end it. Like, they go in there, they just they beat the crap out of both wrestlers, Asuka and Charlotte. And Io Sky holds up her championship, which, shout out to Io Sky for winning that championship. I hope that she holds it for a while. But what the hell was the point? You're the champion. Like, why are you going to come out here and ruin everybody else's parade? But I will say, I think that Bailey, or sorry, maybe Corey Graves, one of the commentary members on the team, I did hear them say in that segment that Damage Control is just trying to remind us who controls Friday Night SmackDown. Long story short, that's kind of what I took from that. And that was just there. They just wanted to say, hey, I know that you guys are having a match out here that's probably going to be a damn good one for everybody watching at home, everybody here in attendance. But we're going to go ahead and put a stop to this. Bang. We're all you want to see. We're the best thing going right now in women's wrestling. Those are their words, not mine.
Well, I mean, I hope they don't take this Judgment Day type of approach, coming saying that they run SmackDown, because, definitely kind of come up with your own little tagline, I don't know. I mean, definitely just feels like the Judgment Day type vibes to me, but other than that, man, I mean, of course, congratulations to Io Sky. I mean, definitely wasn't a fan of them interfering as well. But, yeah, I mean, Charlotte and Asuka definitely put on a good start of the show for us.
I mean, that match has been at WrestleMania before. Mm-hmm. Charlotte beat her streak. I feel like that matchup should always get the respect that it deserves and never have just a non-finish, pretty much, and end in disqualification. Yeah. But I get it. Probably going to have those two team up together, but let's not get anybody injured, obviously. Nobody ever wants to get injured, but we did learn that the tag team match between Charlotte and Bianca, who did not team well together, it's just a coincidence that Sonya Deville got her ACL torn in that tag team match. So get well soon. Speedy recovery for Sonya Deville. She was just now starting to sink her teeth into something, man. That is sad. As a wrestling fan, you want to see these wrestlers get on a groove or get in a groove and start getting some momentum behind them. And I feel like the women's tag team championships, some people say they're cursed. I don't really have an opinion on that, but they were about to, I don't know if she's ever had a championship before. So the fact that she was actually going to have a shot to be a champion kind of sucks. She got the rug pulled out from underneath her. It also sucks for Chelsea Green, because what are they going to do with her now? She kind of just has to go on the shelf by default unless she can somehow manage to swim on her own. But let's just keep everybody safe. How about that? If we get any tag match, Charlotte and Asuka versus Bailey and Io Sky, I don't care who wins. Let's let all four women come out healthy. That's all I care about.
Good little prayers, I guess.
Yeah, just, positive thoughts. That's all you got to throw their way. Up next, we thought we were going to get Austin Theory versus Santos Escobar for the United States Championship. I was, really looking forward to getting it early in the night. And while, Santos Escobar is having a backstage interview with Caleb Braxton, he gets attacked from behind by Austin Theory, puts his leg in a type of moving box, like for the production crew, the people who set up the stage and stuff. This is some of their, the big ass totes with wheels on them that they put all of their equipment in, that they go from show to show. I mentioned to you when we saw it happen live, people do get injured for real like that. I saw it happen to Dean Ambrose with Samoa Joe on Monday Night Raw. I don't know what year it was, probably like 2018, because I got to think back to when Jon Moxley was back in WWE, which seems like forever at this point. But anyways, Santos Escobar gets injured because his leg gets slammed in that bad boy. So right then I'm like, well, so there goes that U.S. Championship match. Austin Theory is doing everything he possibly can to not defend that championship because he knows his days are numbered and he just is not right for that championship right now. So that's what I think was going to happen. Obviously, we get swerved. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But we do get another match. Like I said, we were expecting the U.S. title match right there. It doesn't happen. They say, no worries. We have another match ready to go right now. Karrion Kross, AJ Styles, obviously Michin and Scarlett both at ringside. And as you would expect, they both get involved. At one point in the match, Scarlett actually saved Karrion Kross from losing by putting his foot on the rope right after AJ Styles hit like a 450 splash. Beautiful move. He definitely would have won it with that move. But Scarlett puts his foot on the rope. The referee, not sure if he knows that it was her. I know he's a little bit suspicious, but he doesn't throw her out. He's like, hey, what the hell's going on? Blah, 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 blah. Michin comes over, throws Scarlett over the announce table for her troubles, and obviously AJ Styles hits a phenomenal Styles clash. No pun intended there. But I will say we noticed it looked weird, him hitting it on Karrion Kross because Karrion Kross is so big. It gave us 2K vibes when you have a little wrestler doing his move to a big wrestler. It's always a funny thing to see. But AJ Styles gets the win here. What'd you think about Karrion Kross being defeated once again?
Man, I mean, Karrion Kross, I mean, of course, I like him and everything, but I feel like he's getting to that point to where his stuff is kind of getting a little stale for me, you know. I mean, of course, he's been calling out these people with these little tarot cards and the video packages that he has, and it just kind of feels like it's going down that same little road as being, you know, the same type of product that he's kind of putting out. So, I mean, it's getting to that point to me to where, like, he's kind of just becoming what would you say, just a jobber for me.
Yes.
You know, so, I mean, definitely the name that I'd give him. But AJ Styles, I mean, definitely impressive still. I mean, him being the age and everything and doing that, what'd you say, 450?
450 splash.
And, yeah, I mean, he still made it seem like it was nothing, you know. So, I mean, definitely round of applause to him, and good thing that he's squeezing these lemons, you know.
100%. Great reference there. Up next, speaking of age and people who are a little bit up there when it comes to age, none other than Edge comes out. A very surprise appearance. I didn't know he was coming. He wasn't advertised.
I was wondering where he was.
So the fact that he came out, I was like, what is this? I mean, we're in Canada, so you could already know that, you know, that's likely going to have... I'm surprised we didn't see Natalya. It's her hometown. She took a picture there. She was there. Just didn't have anything for her. That's just kind of sucks. It's part of the business. But obviously, Edge comes out. He teases his 25th anniversary, which is going to be next week in Toronto, his hometown. And then he immediately turns his attention and starts giving credit to Sheamus for multiple things. The main thing, though, is being the main one who actually, you know, got him back in the ring. And what he means by that is there was a bike accident that happened. If you've seen any of Edge's documentaries over the past few years about his comeback, you know exactly which bike accident we're talking about. They reference it. Edge pretty much just says, hey, I was riding a bike with Sheamus on his YouTube channel, Celtic Workouts, or the Celtic Warrior Workouts, whatever. I don't watch it, but I know exactly what it is. But he pretty much just plugs that and says, hey, I was working out with Sheamus, you know, just riding a bike with him. I think, why not? You know, I'll maybe have a chance of watching Sheamus bust ass. Turns out, that kind of thinking will turn around and bite you in the ass because Edge is the one who ended up, you know, biting the dust. He ate it pretty good on his bike, and he immediately said to himself, people are going to see that and ask, well, why can't he wrestle? Like, if he's, you know, taking falls like that, then what's wrong with him taking a bump here and there? And that kind of got his wheels turning. And eventually, he references, you know, getting prepared for the 2020 Royal Rumble, him making his comeback, everything that's happened since then. But it all started with Sheamus, inviting him to that workout, him actually doing it, and everything that transpired after that. And then, obviously, he introduces Sheamus. And the Brawling Brutes as a whole, all of the group ends up coming out. Sheamus plays that video so everybody can see it. So now you definitely know exactly what I'm talking about. And that video just so happened to show a lot of Edge's quote-unquote behind, which Edge didn't really appreciate. And then Sheamus has a great line here that if you watched Raw back in 2005, 2006, you know what we're talking about. Whenever Edge and Lita had their little, you know, interaction on the bed that was in the ring, Sheamus says, hey, come on. You've shown a lot more on TV than that, if we're being honest here. And, you know, Edge quickly ducked it, tried to dodge it immediately and change the subject. Didn't give that line the respect it deserves, but I appreciated it, Sheamus, and I know that was an absolute badass little jab that you threw at Edge there. But Sheamus goes on to tell a story of his own about how he went to Monday Night Raw back in like 2004 whenever he saw the Monday Night Raw crew, and he wanted to approach them and possibly soak up some things, be a sponge, learn things about the business, because he was at a crossroads in his career and he didn't know if he should pursue wrestling or something else. And every wrestler that he talked to somewhat gave him the cold shoulder, except for one, and it was Edge. He gave him the words that he needed. He was, helping him out in terms of telling him what he needed to do, how he needed to prepare, and what he could expect, all that good stuff. And then obviously the two agree that next week they're going to have a match in Edge's hometown for his 25th anniversary. And, Sheamus just hopes that Edge didn't make a mistake, meaning that he hopes Edge doesn't get hurt.
Well, yeah, that was some good stuff for me right there. I definitely was asking where he was for this whole time, It's been some time. Definitely him and Beth, I don't know, maybe going through their little situations that they got going on. But other than that, man, it was definitely some good stuff for me.
For sure. I'm excited to see this match, Edge versus Sheamus. If they did wrestle, it must have been the time that I was not watching WWE. I'm sure their paths have crossed at some point. I feel like it has to. I just can't think of a time I've seen them just go one-on-one. The fact that it's in Toronto, Edge's hometown, 25th anniversary, they're highlighting it a week before that, just teasing us to get us ready. That just tells you they're invested in it, and it's likely going to be a damn good match. So if you watch anything on next episode of SmackDown, definitely tune into that match for sure. Up next in the show, we get LA Knight versus Top Dollar. This match stems from a little bit of a roast that happened. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago?
I think it was 2.
When he came out and definitely, took some shots at Hit Row, LA Knight that was, and then ended up having a match against Adonis. He beats him. Now he beats who he calls Uncle Phil, which I feel like is a shot at Uncle Phil.
A good little laugh right there.
For sure. And defeats Top Dollar the exact same way. Cuts a promo after his match and just lets you know that it doesn't matter, Raw, SmackDown, anywhere. I disagree with that. You're a SmackDown wrestler. Only show up on SmackDown. You know how I feel about that. Nonetheless, I'm not going to get into that little soapbox here, but I love having LA Knight show up on SmackDown and just get a quick win, get a massive pop. Did you see all those yellow shirts in the crowd?
Oh, yeah. Definitely climbing the charts right there.
I can only imagine what that merch stand is like. You definitely got to get yourself an LA Knight shirt ASAP if you don't already have one. One thing we saw next, it was backstage, though. Bobby Lashley, he is talking to the Street Profits or just talking with them, but he's, they're all sitting there with their glasses on. They all got their red wine. They're just sitting there with their nice suits looking great. And Lashley just starts to talk about how he says the biggest disappointment in life is untapped potential. And he sees a lot of potential in that tag team, which is the Street Profits. And he said that what they did last week, debuting their new look, doing what they did, making their presence felt good. But they feel like the job isn't finished yet, and they want to make their mark. There's some new blood here, or SmackDown is in need of some new blood, is what Bobby Lashley said. And I'm all for this group. I mentioned it last week. This is something that, without a doubt, I want to see more of, for sure. And I like how they're slowly easing us into it, giving us these weekly vignettes, bringing them out to attack a team or something like that. But I'm looking forward to seeing the development of the Street Profits with Lashley.
Well, the thing that's kind of crazy is that Bobby Lashley is the one that's kind of behind all this, definitely trying to be the mouthpiece for him, it seems like, in a way. But I don't know. It's definitely going to take some time for it to kind of grow on me. Of course, like I said last week, they look impressive. Angelo Dawkins definitely looks a lot better in ring. But, I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely going to take a couple weeks for me to kind of get used to the whole little situation that they got going on.
Yeah, it's gonna have to take a little bit of an adjustment. We've seen the Street Profits do one thing. Like, you telling me they had a wine glass tonight instead of a red Solo cup?
Right, yeah.
That's just the thing. We can't. They're gonna have to drop their gimmick of dropping their cups down. We can't be dropping wine glasses down from the rafters or anything like that.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be different right there.
But up next, we get a backstage view in the medical trainer's room of Santos Escobar, pretty much lacing his boots up. They kind of kept catching us up to this throughout the night as he was, trying to get cleared by the doctors, which he eventually does. But Scrap Daddy Pierce walks in there and says, "Hey, you're cleared to compete, but I need to know. I need to look you in the eyes and know that you're good to go." He says he's good to go, so we do think we're getting this match. We see Santos Escobar come to the ring, and then out of nowhere, while he's making his entrance, he gets attacked from behind by Austin Theory in his bad leg that he just, slammed into one of those crates. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this dude, I want to go out there and wrestle him now. Like, just we gotta get somebody to take this title off of him, So that was that was the first thing that came to my mind. Is just, man, what the, like, are we really gonna let Austin Theory get away with this? And I was just thinking he's gonna keep ducking him. He's just gonna continue to do this. Maybe try to luck into getting one more week as champion. All of LWO comes out, and then Adam Pearce comes out as well and says, we're gonna have this championship match, just maybe not against Santos Escobar, and then. Almost reminiscent to Four Brothers when Mark Wahlberg took off his jacket, to fight Victor Sweet, the very last scene. If you're a fan of Four Brothers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not, go freaking watch it because there's only two types of people in this world. People that like Four Brothers and people that haven't seen it yet. So definitely go check that movie out. But the way Rey Mysterio took off his shirt and just got his things ready to rock, I was just like, oh man, that was total badass move right there. That was gangster vibes from Rey Mysterio for sure. Definitely love seeing that. So him and Theory go into the ring. He's all right, you want to take out my partner? I'm going to come in here and handle business real quick. And that's exactly what he does. Gets a 619 right to the back, right to the spinal on Austin Theory. Gets the win and steals the United States Championship. He gets another championship reign this late in his career after going into the Hall of Fame. Like, hell to the I got it. That's badass for Rey Mysterio. I'm definitely, proud of the guy for sure. He's one of the figures like gotta get in here. But hey, like I said multiple times, it's not easy finding the Rey Mysterio that I want.
Yes, I understand that right there
for sure. Because there are so many different versions of him, but nonetheless, he's champion. I will say I couldn't help but think immediately after he won this championship, is there a possible way that they're doing this? Because didn't Dominic win the North American Championship on NXT? North American champion, United States champion. They're going to have an interaction both as champions. They both have like a geographic champion, like United States, North American. Like, I just have a feeling that something is going to happen. And there could be a lot of people who agree with me on that. But it just, as soon as it happened, I was like, Dominic's a champion right now. We'll see. There's just opportunities there for sure. Let's see here. Moving on to what happened next in the show. I had to get back to my notes here. Oh, did you have anything on that? On Theory? Or not Theory, Rey Mysterio winning the United States Championship?
I would say definitely just glad that Austin Theory has lost the title. Congratulations to Rey Mysterio for winning the title. And, I mean, like you said, it was quick. I mean, definitely felt like the stuff that was happening behind the scenes, backstage took a little bit longer than the actual match itself, So definitely was more interested in just the videos, the backstage stuff going on. And, yeah, I mean, like I said, congratulations, Rey.
Up next is the main event, the final segment of the show, Hail to the Chief. And it was supposed to be all about Roman Reigns, where apparently us as watchers and or the people in attendance, it was just a ball wash session, was what it was supposed to be. Ends up not being that because he immediately says, where's Jimmy? That's what he asked Paul. Paul says, he spoke to Jimmy earlier today. Blah, 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 blah. Paul Heyman mumbling out of his you-know-what. But out of nowhere, we see Jimmy. He kind of just appears in the back of the screen, like right there on the outside of the ring, wearing the exact same thing that he was wearing at SummerSlam, the black bandana right there on the bottom of his face, just being drowned with booze. Pretty much just being flooded with "you sold out" chants. People are pissed. Not only that, but that just tells you how behind the WWE Universe is Jey Uso, which we'll get to that and how that kind of throws a whole wrench in everything that's going on right now. But Jimmy Uso comes into the ring and Roman tells him, I owe you one. Just name it. Name your price. You want a boat? You want a car? You want a jet? And Jimmy quickly cuts him off. If you're a heel, bro, take all you can freaking get, all right? But nonetheless, he cuts him off, and he just says, hey, what happened at SummerSlam and what I did had nothing to do with you. And Jey Uso's music hits. He gets right in Jimmy's face, tells him that he's about to throw 37 years in the trash if he doesn't explain why he did what he did. And obviously Jimmy gives him some BS excuse, because I love you. He said that he was scared to lose him, and that if Jey was to actually become the tribal chief, that the Usos would have basically been finished, and he didn't want to see him become anything like Roman Reigns. So super kicking him in the face and costing him is going to keep the Usos together? You must not know. And let me quote, those two little boys who were fighting the why he ain't eat it cold. Those two little boys when they were going back and forth like talking crap to each other. It's a viral video. When you don't know what I'm talking about?
I don't know.
When they're talking about their grades and stuff like that, and he talks about his dad whooping his ass and stuff. Oh, I'm about to show you that, but they pretty much he throws one of the kids throws the other little kid's bite down, and they kind of like put their hands out like they're gonna fight, and one of them was like, "You must don't know me, son." They're literally like fourth graders, but that's pretty much what Jey Uso said. You must don't know me, son. If you think that I'm gonna just accept your apology after you just cost me the biggest match of my entire career at SummerSlam. Like, that was just right then kind of just, I was like, bro, typically I can have some sympathy for someone when they make a bad decision like what Jey did. And it sucks because Jey isn't, like, he literally doesn't care about the bloodline. Like, he has no one now. That's what sucks. Jey doesn't either, but Jey has the love of the fans, Mm-hmm. And I don't know. Jimmy's he's going to be in a dark place. I'm just hoping that he ends up all right. I'm in a nice mood tonight. I don't know what it is. Just, we're talking about, damage control, having the women wrestlers stay healthy. Now looking out for Jimmy Uso's mental health. Even though he just, screwed his brother. That's just, just shows we're, we got good hearts here at the football function. I got my head up my you-know-what. But we're on the SmackDown review. But that was a little bit just of a podcasting mix-up right there. But I would have been pissed if I would have been Jimmy, or if I would have been Jey, apologize, and I heard that BS excuse just because I love it. What the hell was that? But Jimmy does give Jey the opportunity to get him back, get him a lick back. Hey, you want to just throw it all away, kick me right in the face? Go ahead, do it. Gives him the opportunity, and even better than doing it, he turns his back on him. Just turns right away. And I feel like that was more symbolic than anything. Yep. Because if you turn your back on someone, I'm not even gonna look at you like that. That's how I look at you. Is you're behind me. It's a symbolic way of saying like I'm putting you like behind me. And Jimmy eventually leaves the ring, and Roman Reigns gets a little mouthy, confident. Well, this is a great time to say I told you so. Blah blah blah. When are you ever gonna learn? It's been like this for 3 years. All this was supposed to be was you acknowledging me, and then whoo. Jey Uso gives him a nice super kick right to the mouth. Well, he gives him a kick to the microphone. The microphone hits him in the mouth. And as you expect, Solo Sikoa goes in there, tries to do his thing. Jimmy Uso gets the better of him, but Roman Reigns gets a Superman punch, obviously, kind of gets the momentum back. And then somehow, as he's preparing to hit his spear, I look down for 2 seconds. I look up. Jey Uso is the one that's hitting the spear.
Yep.
Getting the better of him. And as Jimmy Uso is walking up the ramp the whole time this little brawl is taking place, he gets to the very tip top. After he makes light work of Roman Reigns, Jey hops out of the ring and says, Jimmy, come here. Like, I'm getting my hair standing up a little bit because he literally had me sold in that moment. I thought it was going to be like a little embrace or a little bit of just an interaction between the two brothers. And as Jimmy was coming back, oh man, he just walked right into a super kick. And is that the last super kick we're going to see Jey do for a while?
I believe so.
Apparently it could be from what he said right after that. He looked into the camera, didn't even pick up a microphone. This was off mic. He looked at us into our eye sockets and said, I'm out. I'm done with the bloodline. I'm done with SmackDown, which kind of hurt.
Yep.
And I'm done with the WWE. And he leaves through the crowd reverse Shield style. What in the I did not expect to see this coming is going on here?
Well, man, definitely, it put the cap on what I was questioning from what happened, because definitely we got the answer that we needed about didn't want them to split up and everything. So, I mean, it kind of put that open book to a close for me, so they definitely did that part for a little bit, I guess. But, I mean, the whole Jey leaving now, I mean, that definitely puts us at, what the heck's going to happen next. I mean, of course, you kind of mentioned what can possibly happen. Hey, I'm all for that, definitely, yeah, something that I might be looking forward to down the road. But I don't know, man. I mean, it was just good for me. Let me just say that. Yeah, definitely a good way to end this show.
It was. What was a great show, to be honest. Rey Mysterio winning the United States Championship, obviously getting what we got from that main event segment, although I will be very sad if we don't see Jey Uso for a long time. Talked about it. The crowd was extremely behind him. You saw that graphic. Have you seen it yet of him having the crowd do that with him at SummerSlam? Like, he's worked hard to get to this point where he is legitimately main event Jey Uso. He could go have a feud with Seth Rollins right now on Monday Night Raw, and I'll believe it. I couldn't have said that a few years ago. But he's worthy of being, like, it sucks to say. I mean, it doesn't suck to say it's great for Jey Uso. And this isn't to diminish any of the mid-card titles, but it's almost like he's elevated above those despite never winning one. It's like he's skipping that part of the process, which is virtually unheard of. People don't do that. I mean, maybe, well, no, I don't want to say Randy Orton. He just won the Intercontinental Championship so young that when he won the World Heavyweight Championship at like 24 years old, it was still freakishly young, but you forget he had a year-long reign as the Intercontinental Champion. Jey Uso's 37 years old, and he hasn't won a mid-card title, and he has this opportunity now. And it just kind of, I don't know. Like I told you earlier, if we're going to get a long-term story between the Usos, one of them has to go away.
Yep.
I feel like this is a perfect opportunity for Jimmy to get the spotlight now as a heel by himself. We saw whenever Jimmy... Yeah, he's got some heat for sure. And we saw it happen to Jey. When Jimmy was banged up on the shelf, he maximized that opportunity. True, it doesn't have to be with the bloodline. Jimmy can just be a pissed off SOB around SmackDown and just causing havoc for everybody. What if he goes on to dethrone Rey Mysterio? Rey Mysterio is a babyface. He needs a heel to work with. It wouldn't be the craziest thing to see Jimmy Uso get an opportunity at that U.S. title as a heel now. I'm just kind of fantasy booking here, giving him or trying to forecast what could be in the future for Jimmy Uso as a heel and life without Jey. But I'm excited nonetheless for what SmackDown has in store. We got some good stuff coming next week, obviously. Edge versus Sheamus is what you really need to look forward to, but there's going to be a lot of good stuff in store as well. I'm looking forward to getting to it. Preseason action is well underway if you're a football fan. Summer's almost over, so if you have kids that are going back to school, I'm sure this is a very busy time for you and all that good stuff, but it's a damn good time to be a wrestling fan. We just finished SummerSlam, getting into the fall. I mean, back in the day, this is some of my favorite time for wrestling because you're building into the Royal Rumble, which leads up and obviously to WrestleMania, but this is where things start to kind of set in stone. Seeds get planted at SummerSlam. We might have seen one with the Uso split. That could have been that first seed that we're going to be looking back at WrestleMania XL in Philly and say, this started at SummerSlam, really. It's happened many times before. Hopefully this is another chance. But that does do it for us here on the SmackDown review, guys. This is 148. We're creeping up on 150. So I do appreciate you guys for sticking with us. That's a long time because that's not 150 episodes that can come out 5 a week. This is 150 weeks straight of delivering the SmackDown review for you guys. So we do appreciate all of our loyal listeners who have stuck with us for all the years. Those of you who do enjoy the show that we do, we appreciate you guys. We do it for you guys. So we definitely appreciate all the feedback that was given to us on the Patreon app as well. Shout out to Grace, obviously DJ Kuzmo, always giving us his kind words as well. It's just nice to see, that people will take our advice when we say, hey, come to us. Fozzy32 as well. Just wanted to make sure I mentioned everybody that commented on the Patreon app and, gave us that feedback. But you got anything to say to the listeners before we sign off?
Well, I mean, definitely want to give a shout out to, of course, like you were saying, listeners, Patreon members, Discord members. Y'all definitely make the pay-per-views a lot more interesting, of course, Raws and SmackDowns as well. So, yeah, I mean, if you're looking forward to that, I mean, you want to join the Discord membership, it's a little $1, nothing too much or anything like that. But, of course, definitely want to give a shout out to you, Mike, football function, like you said, creeping up around, first week of preseason?
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're here.
Games are going on right now.
Yeah, happening, about to start getting into the juicy parts of the football function. So, yeah, definitely want to tune in over there. And, just want to close it out like that.
Hell yeah, that's what I like to hear. I hope that you guys all have a damn good weekend. Enjoy whatever activities you got going on. Enjoy whatever, maybe movies or any type of plans that you have, or if you're just enjoying a lazy weekend. Those don't come around very often, so definitely soak that up. I would definitely appreciate it if I got that opportunity, and I would for sure do it. But tomorrow me and John have to work for free, which is never fun. But it is what it is. It's just part of the grind that goes on. But thank you guys so much for listening. Have a damn good weekend. Walk passionately in the direction of your dreams, and I'll talk to you soon. Yeah!
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.